मैम मॉडल भी कंट्रोलर मैम मॉडल भी कंट्रोलर वो सॉफ्टवेयर डिजाइन वो कॉमनली यूज करते हैं मैम जो कि ना वो डेवलपिंग यूजर इंटरफेस में हम वेब एप्लीकेशन के लिए उसको यूज करते हैं मैम इट इज सेपरेट एप्लीकेशन इनटू 3 इंटरकनेक्टेड वो कंपोनेंट होता है जैसे कि मॉडल व्यू और वो मैम कंट्रोलर
Jayant Singh, are you there? Mubarak, are you there? Right. So in the previous class, what we did, we learned about the MVC architecture, where we have written some code for building the user schema to store it in the MongoDB database. And then we have also written the exact logic for the login as well as registration feature to add in our website for the backend part. So, and we were left with testing those API, isn't it, Johnson? We didn't test it in the previous class, I guess.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. That was pending.
Okay. So, explaining all these things to you people once again. So here inside the db.js, what we are having, we are just connecting our MongoDB database with our Node.js. And the major function that we require in order to connect our MongoDB to the Node.js are the connect function that is used to connect our MongoDB with the Node.js. And the second most prior thing is the Mongo URI. And I hope I have already told you people to be ready with your Mongo URI whenever we are working with the backend, because that is the most crucial thing in order to connect the MongoDB database to the Node.js. First is the connect method. Second is the Mongo URI. These couple of keywords are optional. You can add them or else you cannot add them as well. That will not cause any effect to your program. Secondly, you also have to import the Mongoose library in order to use this connect function. And finally, you have to export the function that you just have created. So this is how we connect our MongoDB database to the Node.js. So let me see. Ayush, are you there? Ayush Verma? Ayush, are you there? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. So, Dheeraj, tell me, why do we need this .env file?
Can you repeat the question?
Why do we need the .env file?
To store the environment variables.
Great, Abhijit. All right. So we need this .env file in order to see over here. You can see we are having the .env file. In this file, we store our environment variables such as the Mongo URI, our JWT secret key, our port number, and etc. environment variables. So for using this .env file, we need to install a library that is known as .env, which is why we are importing this .env file inside this db.js, because we require the Mongo URI, which is stored inside our .env file, in order to connect the MongoDB with our Node.js. Now moving further to the controller part. And as Johnson has said a few minutes back, that this controller part contains the exact logic of the code. So what kind of logic does it contain? It contains some kind of functions that we want to make available in our website. So in many websites, we see the most common functions, that is the register as well as login, that we use in our day-to-day life. So here, what are we doing is that we are mentioning a register function as well as a login function to be available inside our website. So for that purpose, what all things do we need? Like we need different kind of ingredients to cook a dish. This is how we need different kind of library in order to perform certain kind of function to be available inside our website. So the first thing that we are doing is the register user. And here, the register user, we are passing an asynchronous function. And in the body of our testing application, we are as developers requiring our user to provide them with our username, email, password, as well as role. The user has to put values for all these fields, and all these fields has been declared inside this user schema. That is very much essential in order to make our MongoDB database. We will move to it further. So the user, whenever has to register himself inside the website, has to provide his username, email, password, as well as role inside the body, which I have shown you in the previous class as well, I guess. Didn't I show you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, I have started a try-catch block. Inside this, I have created a user exists variable, and I am passing the find one function. So this find one function, what it does is that this will check if the email provided by the user is already existing inside the database. And if the user already exists inside the database, then it will provide the user with the message user already exists. And if the provided email, which is if it is not provided inside the database, then what it will do, using the create function, that is going to create the entire data entry which is provided by the user, that is his username, email, password, as well as role inside the database, and it will provide the user with a message that user registered successfully. After that, providing the message, what it will do, it will generate a token. And generating a token is done by the sign method of the JSON Web Token library, which is why we are importing this JSON Web Token library and assigning that library to the variable that is JWT. So this is how we generate a token. In order to generate a token, as I have said, we require the sign method. Inside this sign method, we have to pass the ID and then role that is provided by the user. After that, the JWT secret key is very essential in order to generate a token. And then we have to mention the expires in duration. This exactly means that what is the exact time till which the token is valid, and after that our token will get expired. And in case if you as a developer don't want to get your token expired, over there what keyword do you have to mention? I have told in the previous class. Can anyone tell me? What keyword do we have to mention if we do not want our token to get expired?
Token infinite.
No,
Refresh token.
no.
Ignore expiration.
Great, Mohammed. So that means ignore expiration. What it will do, it will not let the token to get expired. And using this expires in keyword, we are mentioning the exact duration of time till when our token will be valid. This is how the user gets registered inside the website. And then coming on to the login part. So we have logged into number of websites after signing in inside the website. Over there, what do we provide inside the website? We provide our email as well as password. So that is the same thing that we are as developers requesting to the user, and the user will provide the values for his email as well as password inside the body of our testing application. Now coming on to the same thing, that when the user provides his email as well as password, then what it will do, it will check whether the email provided by the user is existing inside the database. And then what it will do, it will try to match the username as well as password in order to check whether the credentials provided by the user are valid or not. So if they does not match, that is, if not user or not match password, then it will return the user with a message that your credentials, whichever you have provided, are invalid, which directly means what? The stored data inside the database is not matching with the data that the user has provided. So this is the case. And the second case, if the credentials of the user matches to that of the data that is present inside the database, then it will provide the user with a JSON message that login is successful, and then it will again call the generate token. And that is how we will get the token inside our testing application. So this part is entire thing for register user as well as login user, and how are we generating the token. Now coming on to the user controller.js. Inside this, we have mentioned two functions, that is getting the user profile and getting all users. So inside this user profile, what are we doing? We have to provide the user through his, we have to find the user through his ID. And then in order to get all the users, we are just using the find method that we have done in the CRUD operations. Didn't I tell you people about all these things in the CRUD operations?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, I have a doubt.
Yeah.
Ma'am, this is the complete different code that we have done in our last class.
Yeah, this is the different code, but because I have organized them in different files. Are you getting the things? But if you see these things, that is the register username and login things, the entire logic behind the code is same, right?
Ma'am, there is a change in the line number 32. We used the bcrypt on last class.
Line number 32.
Ma'am. Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am. We
see.
used the bcrypt on that time.
Yeah, see, I'll tell you. Over here in line number 32, I have written a method that is match password. Now you might be thinking, from where did this match password is occurring over here? But can you see over here, I have also imported the user.js from the models folder.
Yes, ma'am.
So inside the models,
Yes.
what I have done, I have created a function that is match password. And as you have said that in the previous class, we have used the bcrypt.compare method. So inside this user.js, I have created a match password method, which is doing what? It is using the bcrypt only in order to compare the entered password with the password that is provided by the user. Now are you getting my point? How are these logics equal?
Yes, ma'am.
Just the thing is that I have organized them in different files. That's it. But the logic behind each and every function is same.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
After that, coming on to the middleware. And I guess you people also have studied in the previous class about this ternary operator and the split method, as well as one declared inside the square bracket. I have told you in the previous class, didn't I?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. So now Johnson will tell me, why are we writing one over here?
To to skip the first word.
And what do you have inside the first word that you want to skip?
I exactly don't remember that.
All right. So let me explain it once again. So over here, what all ingredients do we require in order to create our functions? We require a JSON web token, as well as we also require some data that is present inside our .env file. All right. Now what I have done, I have made a protect function over here, which is having three parameters, that is request, response, as well as next. Now coming on to this line, that is line number 6. I have created a token variable over here. And this token variable, what it requires? It requires the authorization. If this authorization is true, then what it will do? The entire token will be of the form first with the bearer and then the exact token. So the token will have the prefix as bearer. After what it happens, if when we are mentioning this split function, the bearer gets separated and the entire token gets separated. So this is the main purpose behind writing this split function, which is having space between this, which is why we are using this split function. After that, what I have written? 1. So the reason behind writing 1 over here is that after the bearer as well as token gets separated through a space, the bearer prefix gets stored in the 0th index, which means what? As Johnson has said, we have to ignore the first keyword, that is the bearer. So that is why we are not writing 0 over here, because we do not want that bearer keyword. Instead, what do we want? We want the exact token, which is stored in the second index, that is the index number 1. Are you people getting my point?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Great. So if the token is not created, then what it will do? It will say that it is not authorized because the token is not being sent to the server. That is why it is saying, if not token, then send the status code 401 and provide the user with the message that it is not authorized. Inside the try catch block, what we are doing? We are verifying the token. And in order to verify the token, we need two things. That is the token itself as well as the JWT secret key that is present inside our .env file, which is why we have imported this .env file. And then it will provide it will request the user for the decoded token. Now it will pass this entire control flow to the next cache block. This is why we are using the next middleware. Are you getting my point? Why are we using this next over here?
Yes.
All right. And after providing this entire control flow to the cache block, this will say that the token is invalid if the token is really invalid and if the token does not get verified. Second function is the authorize function. So can anyone tell me what does this 3 dot called?
Spread operator.
Spread operator.
Great,
operator.
very good. And what is the work of this spread operator?
It
Spread
just
every
copies the
element.
entire
To
string
extract
and
the
adds
individual
the
value from an array or
Store the
string.
previous value.
To
One
extract
after
the
the other.
to
Just a
extract the
second.
individual
Any one
value.
of you tell me. Any one of you.
It spreads all
Yeah.
the values.
Who
It
else
copies
wants
the
to
previous
speak?
value completely and adds the new value.
Great. So inside the roles, whichever role is provided by the user to the server, it will get that role as the parameter to authorize function, to the authorize function. And then what we have done, we are providing that if not roles dot includes request dot user dot role, which means what? If the role does not includes the role provided by the user, then it will provide the user with access denied. Say for example, we are providing the user, like we are enabling the user to provide only 2 roles. That is, a user can be user or else the user can be admin. So if the user does not enter any of these roles, rather what the user will do, he will provide his role as project administrator. Then the message will be provided to the user saying access is denied. This is how the authorize function is working. And then it is again shifting the shifting the entire control structure to the next part. So for that purpose, we are using next over here again. This is our auth middleware.js. Now coming inside the models. So as I have already told you, the MongoDB data stores the entire data in the form of a JSON format. And we need to create a schema in order to store the data. Whereas in SQL, we store the data in a relational form. You people are being able to know, right, how this entire user schema is used.
Yes.
Great. So one more thing to be told to you people is that in order to provide the user with only 2 options or any of the specific options, we use this enum function, which says that the user can only provide user as well as admin keywords to the roles. And if it does not provide any role, then the role automatically by default will take user as the role. Understood?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So here is what we are using pre function, that is PRE. Pre function is used to hash the password before it gets saved inside the MongoDB. So for that purpose, we are writing pre, and in the very first argument, we are passing save in order to store the data before this save function occurs. After that, in the second parameter, we are passing a function. And what is the purpose of that function? The purpose of that function is to hash the password in order to make the website more secure. We are hashing the password using bcrypt.js, which is why we have imported this bcrypt.js and assigned it to the variable bcrypt, and using the compare as well as using the gensort as well as hash method of the bcrypt.js, we are encrypting our password. As I have told you in the previous class, that this 10 number is known as the gensort, and instead of writing this entire line, we can also write this 10 directly over here as the second parameter to the hash function. And do I need to explain this hashing of password any more to you people?
No, ma'am.
And you people can see over here as well about the match password, that it is using the compare method of bcrypt.js in order to match the password which is already present inside the database with that password which is provided by the user during when he logs in inside the website. So this compare method as well as the hash method and then gensort method, these are the three methods which we have to keep in mind while hashing our password. Understood? Now finally, after creating these functions, what are we doing? We are exporting our user schema with the keyword user, so that whenever we need to access our user schema, we can access this entire user schema through this user keyword. And then as you know that we need a URL in order to send request to the server. And what the URL contains? The URL contains different kind of API endpoints, so that the server gets to know which function does it has to run in order to provide a specific feature that is present inside our website. So if the user wants to register inside the website, then the user has to pass the register as an API endpoint inside the URL, through which the server will be able to know that the user wants to run the register user function. And while logging in, then the user has to provide login as the API endpoint, so that the server gets to know that the server has to execute the login user function. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And in order to mention these API endpoints, the router middleware of Express is used. And this is how we export the provided routers, that is by using module.exports is equal to router. Because if we export router, then both of these endpoints will get exported. So this is the entire route for all authentication, that is register as well as login. And then these are the routes for user details, where it is passing the protect method and then get user profile. So what did we had inside our protect method? Can anyone tell?
Ma'am, it protects our password.
Not exactly.
To check the role, the user or admin.
Yeah, it will verify the token, whether the token is valid or not, which is why the protect function is mentioned over there inside the user route. So whenever we want to get a particular profile of a user, over there the protect which means the token will get tested if it's valid or not. And secondly, the get user profile function will get executed. And then if we want all the users detail over there, the protect route will again execute coming on the get all users. All these functions will get executed after mentioning these API endpoints. Now coming on to the server.js, as all of you know, that in order to use all these functions that we have mentioned inside our controller, we need this server.js to have all these functions imported inside the file. And here, in order to use the login as well as register, that is our auth routes, we have to write API and then auth. After that, we can mention register as well as login depending upon the user requirement. So let's test these APIs. Tell me the command to run the server.
Nodem
Node
server.js.
Nodemon server.js.
And why do we use the nodemon?
to continuously watch the
To
changes.
to continuous restarting the server, automatic.
Great. Nodemon server. So it got connected to the MongoDB. So you people can test it by using Postman. And my server is running on port 5000. My API endpoint is API auth then register. Inside my body, I will So now the work of you people is to provide me with the values that you want to pass inside these fields. Suggest me a name. Come on,
Anthony.
let the name be Peter.
Okay.
And the email of Peter be peterpatter@gmail.com. Then the password of Peter will be Peter1234. And Peter is the admin of the website. Is it username or name only? It is username. All right.
Yeah.
See, we are getting the message that is user registered successfully, as well as we are getting the token, that is this one. And now what I will do, I will change the API endpoint over here. Instead of register, I will provide login. And while login, I will remove this username and the role. And I will send it. See, I'm getting the message login successful, and then I'm also receiving this token. What I will do, I will copy this entire token. And I will go to my authorization, and over here, I will select the bearer token. And inside this token, I will remove this and I will paste this. And then in the place of the API, in order to test other routes, what I will do, I will put the API endpoint as API users. And then inside my user routes, I will provide the API endpoint as profile. and here I have to make a get request. So we'll send this. See, after providing the token over here that I have just created about Peter, I'm getting the entire ID of Peter. Are you people being able to see that the role is admin? Here is the email is Peter and the username is Peter.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
And if I will change the API from users from profile to all, and I will send it, I'm getting all these things. That the name of Dhiran, because he is user, John, Harshit, Saraswati, I'm getting all the profiles. Understood? So this is how the entire API is working. Any further doubt?
Yeah, like for the JSON tokens, we are mentioning that time limit, right? 1 hour.
Yeah.
After
Yeah.
that, what happens? What will happen?
After that, what will happen if you provide that token that you just have generated? If you provide the same token, then there will occur the error that the token has already expired and now you will
Oh.
not be able to fetch the data that you want to fetch from the database.
Okay. Mhm.
And if you mention ignore expiration over there, and if you provide the same token after 10 days, then also it will provide you your desired data.
Got it. Okay.
So let me see your roadmap. What have we covered till now? Yeah, so we have done all these things, mongoose schema design, JWT authentication we have also done, as well as we have performed the CRUD APIs, right? So we are almost done with our backend part. Now coming on to our front end part, that is the React.js front end setup. So let me introduce you with the React.js for today. Let me close this folder. Stop this server. Are you people sure, right? You are not having any doubts in this file? Or
Ma'am,
in
can
any...
you
Yeah, yes.
ma'am, can you please explain this next function?
Okay, this next middleware, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
This next function is nothing. The main purpose of this next middleware is to send the control flow to the next function. That's it. And nothing is much more than this. No function is much more is performed by this next middleware. Understood? That it only provides the control flow from one function to another function.
Ma'am, it means when our token is processed and it is verified, then
Yeah.
it will it skip the catch and next give it to the next
Function.
function.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah. Because it depends, right? If there occurs any kind of error, then only it will get passed to the cache flow. Otherwise, it will send the control flow to the next function.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Any further doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am,
so keep
wait,
this split.
keyword, can you explain?
Okay, wait. No. See, whenever we are, you can also refer the JavaScript content if you have it with you, or else you can see it in anywhere from where you are learning JavaScript. So in JavaScript, we are having the concept of asynchronous function. So inside the asynchronous function, what happens is that those functions which take place one after the another are known as synchronous function. But if we want different kind of functions to perform simultaneously, say for example, if you want to perform, say for example, you want to create a file over here, and in the environment you are also downloading different kind of video, and in the third part you want to edit your picture, and in the fourth part you want to perform some kind of task. So those are what? Those are known as asynchronous functions, because all of those functions are working simultaneously. But in case of synchronous function, what happens? One function is executed after the another function gets completed. So in JavaScript, what we are having the concept of asynchronous function, inside which what we are doing, inside which we are passing request as well as response. So whenever we are writing this asynchronous function, that await keyword is the very necessary to be present inside the asynchronous function. Without the await keyword, we will receive different kind of errors inside our website. Say for example, if I will not mention the await keyword in order to create a new user over here, that is authcontroller.js. Say over here, if I do not write this await keyword, then what will happen? It will, after executing for one time, it will not execute for another time, which means what? Only one user will be able to register inside the website, which will not let other users to register inside the website, which will reduce the quality of our software. Now are you being able to understand the significance of this await keyword?
Yes, ma'am.
So whenever we are using this asynchronous function, this await keyword is very mandatory and crucial to be present inside the function. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Any further doubt?
Yes, ma'am. Can you define, ma'am? Can you elaborate it, ma'am? Hash password and a computer password, ma'am?
What?
Ma'am, can you elaborate it? Hash password and computer password, ma'am?
Hash password inside this models user.js.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let me show you the
Compare.
MongoDB first. So you saw now when I was creating the Peter data.
Yes, ma'am.
So over there, what did I provide in the password? That is Peter1234, right?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
So let's see if the password gets stored stored as Peter1234, or it is getting stored in some different way.
Yes, ma'am.
See, over here, you can see the password, right? I stored the data Peter1234, but this is not the exact data that is being stored inside the MongoDB, isn't it?
Okay.
So this is what happens when we use the bcrypt.hash password, which means that whichever password we are providing to the server, what this hash function does, this hash function encrypts the password to some different kind of text, which also need the salt value, that is 10. Understood? And
Yes,
what
ma'am.
is the purpose of hashing the password? Because the people might have heard about cybersecurity attacks, then hacking your website, hacking your email, hacking your password, etc., etc. Right?
Okay.
So what the hackers do, if we store the same password that we are providing to the server, then it will get easier for the hackers to break into your system and make it more vulnerable, isn't it? So for that purpose, in order to prevent them from breaking into our system and make our website more secure, what we do, we encrypt our password into different kind of codes so that it becomes difficult for the hackers to decrypt that password. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
That is the function of this bcrypt.hash, which is and using this only we hash our password. Now coming on to the compare password. Whenever the user will try to log in. So say for example, you are entering into your house. Understood? And what happens? There is a great security outside your house, and someone will ask you, who are you? then you have to provide your name over there, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
So if the person is already having the data of the members who are residing inside the house, then what will he do? He will check inside the list whether your name is present inside the list of the members residing inside the house.
G. Yes, ma'am.
So over there, what he is doing, he is comparing the name provided by you as well as the name which is present inside his list.
Okay.
So that is the same thing which is being performed
Okay,
over here. Yeah. So over here, the password which is already stored inside the MongoDB database, that is Peter1234 in an encrypted form, is being compared with the password that the user is providing while logging inside the website. And
Yes, ma'am.
in order to compare that password which is stored inside the database and the password that is provided by the user, we are using this compare method.
Yes.
Now clear?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, can you please share the code?
Yeah, all of this will be uploaded in the LMS. You people don't have to worry. You people got the access to the LMS, right?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, not yet.
No, ma'am.
Okay, this entire
No,
thing
ma'am.
will be provided to you by the support team, and I will share it to them and they will share it to you. Now moving on to the React.js.
Ma'am?
Yeah.
Ma'am, 1 second. Ma'am, can you please explain Postman, like how to use it in quickly, like
Okay. So using Postman. All right. So in the Postman, all of you get this kind of UI where you people have learned the CRUD operations, right?
Yes, ma'am.
yes,
So
ma'am.
over here, different kind of methods we were using. In order to read the data, we were using the get method. In order to create the data, we are using the post method. In order to update and delete, we are using put and delete methods respectively, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yeah.
So all of that methods are provided over here. That is get, post, put, delete, patch, dispatch, head options, etc., etc. Right? And this is the method that we want to send to the server. And over here, you have to provide the URL of your server, which is nothing but the HTTP separate, then followed by the colon, followed by two backslash, and then followed by localhost keyword, followed by a colon, and then your port number, which you are providing inside your backend server.js. Over here, my server is running on port number 5000. And after localhost, I am writing the same thing, that is 5000 as the port number. And this API and then users is the API endpoint that I am writing inside my server.js. Inside this server.js, using what? Using the use middleware of the Express library. You got it till here, right? Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
So inside the use method, we need to specify the API endpoints. After which we need to specify the function name that we as the developer want to be executed whenever the user will pass this API endpoint. Which is why, in order to test the auth routes, that is the auth controllers, the main features that we are providing as developers to the website, that is register and login. These are the authentication logics, right? So in order to execute the authentication logics, we are including this authentication logic and inside this API endpoints, that is register as well as login. After that, these endpoints, auth routes, that is auth routes API endpoint, that is login and register, we have to mention depending upon our requirement. So over here, API auth and then register. And since we are sending the request or we are creating some kind of stuff inside the website, we have to put the post method. And that is how this entire thing works. And over here, you have to provide some kind of data. Why? Can somebody tell me why?
It simulates the form input.
No, because we are writing request.body, isn't it?
Oh, okay.
We are writing request.body, right? Which is why we are providing input to the body as a request.
Mhm.
Okay. So the one who has asked about how to use the Postman application, are you being able to understand there?
Yeah, ma'am, I got it. Thank you.
All right, great. And when you want to send the entire thing after processing all these things, you just have to click the send button. Okay. So here what we will do, I will just introduce some commands of React.js by closing this folder. I quickly create a new folder, P5 React. And in the very introduction session, what did I tell you people about React? Can anyone tell me?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, React
What
is
did I
a
tell?
JavaScript. React is a JavaScript library used to build user interface, especially for single page application.
Great. So, which means what? React is used to create the user interface, that is the front end of our website, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So here, I will go to the terminal and I will write a command npm create y @latest, then my project name, that is front end template React. So this is the command that we have to run inside our terminal in order to create the white plus React app. And I will tell you what is white. See, over here, we get different kinds of framework, that is vanilla, Vue, React, P-React, Lit, Svelte, and Solid. So our purpose is to learn React. So I will go over here inside the React using the down arrow key of my keyboard, and I will press enter. And then the method that we are using is the JavaScript. And then I will again press enter. See, over here, after pressing enter, we are getting three kind of commands, that is cd front end. Because why are we getting this cd front end command? Because one more directory, that is front end, has been created inside this B5 React. So in order to change our directory from the B5 React to the front end, we need to run the cd front end command. And I will press enter. And then I will write npm install. It is taking time for the first time, and see, it got completed. So after execution of this command, when we will click inside this front end folder, we will get to see all these things. And inside this src folder, we are having one app.jsx and we are having main.jsx. So these are the entry points of our front end file. See, whichever data is present inside our app.jsx is also like these data will be present inside our front end. And this entire app.jsx is rendered inside this main.jsx. And without this main.jsx, our front end is not going to work. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes, ma'am.
this app.jsx is containing the boilerplate code. And what do we mean by the boilerplate code? That this is having the code which is set by default in each and every React plus White app. And if we want to see how this all things look in a website, in order to run our front end, what we have to do? We have to write npm run dev. And we are getting this link, right? And by hovering over there, it is saying that follow link by using control button of our keyword and clicking on that link. See, over here, we are getting the front end of the website, that is the boilerplate, or which is set by default. Over here, we are having a white icon, a React icon, a counter button, on which if I will click, will get increased by 1 number. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
See, over here, the use textbook is used and this entire boilerplate code is written. So this is how we create a React plus White app. And you people should keep the command in mind. Huh? Just remember or revise it, the command. Or let me provide it to you in the chat box as well. npm create white @latest, then the name of content file, and then template React. And over here, you just don't place this angular brackets and name of front end file. You do not have to write. You just write the name of the file. Say for example, React file. Understood? So this is the command that you have to write in the terminal each time you are creating a front end file. Understood till this much?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So from the next class, we'll be studying the front end, that is React.js, along with different kind of technologies to style our components that we are placing inside our website using React.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
So if people are not having any kind of doubt, then you people can leave the session.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.